From KCTV5, local, live, this is Kansas City on the Record.
Thank you for joining us on your Sunday morning. For Kansas City on the Record, I'm Lauren Magarino. Each week, we hope to break down the biggest stories shaping our community, bring you clarity, and hold leaders to account. This week, we are focusing on the cost of health care, specifically insulin for diabetics. Insulin is the hormone produced in your pancreas that regulates blood sugar. Now, for most people, it moves sugar out of your bloodstream, then to cells to create energy. But for type 1 diabetics, they don't produce insulin. Their immune system attacks the cells which create it, and it leads to a buildup of sugar in their blood, and their cells don't get any energy. Without intervention, the condition can turn deadly, which is why insulin is considered a life-saving drug. But it can be extremely expensive to buy. For people without insurance, prices can climb to over $1,000 per month. And if you have insurance, the average cost is about $35 a month, depending on your coverage. But in Missouri, the Attorney General is suing pharmacy benefit managers. They serve as the middlemen between manufacturers and pharmacies. Catherine Hanaway claims they are taking part in a pricing scheme, keeping insulin prices higher to put more money in their pocket and putting people at risk while charging less for the same drug in other countries. So we sat down with the Republican Attorney General to get her on the record about her lawsuit. Before we talk about pharmacy manufacturers and the benefit managers of it all, I want to start with why this matters and begin with what story kind of struck at the core of this issue for you that made you go, this is an issue that Missouri needs to tackle.
Well, so diabetes is a disease that affects so many Missourians, and it's not like an optional medical care. It's not an elective surgery. If you don't have insulin, you could die from your diabetes. And hearing that 1 in 4 people who are diabetics can't afford their insulin, that's what really moved me to want to do something about this.
And in the lawsuit, I mean, you spell out how in other countries you can get this medication for as little as, $5, and you come over here and that skyrockets to $300, $400. I mean, it's like a 6,000% increase. How does that even happen?
Well, it happens in our allegations when manufacturers and pharmacy benefit managers cooperate with each other to set a price. And so what happens is the manufacturers continue to increase their price over and over again. The pharmacy benefit managers, who are the ones who have to put it on their formulary, we're getting really in the weeds here, then start demanding rebates, which would be okay if those rebates got passed on to the patients, but they don't. And it becomes the profit margin for these pharmacy benefit managers, the PBMs. So that's why we're going after them. We think that they have a lot of money in their pockets that really should belong to the patients. So we want to enjoin them from continuing this practice and get some restitution for Missourians.
Following up on the restitution point, what exactly does that look like? What would Missourians gain by you winning this?
Well, hopefully they'll gain money in their pockets and going forward, much more affordable insulin. So diabetics are going to probably have to opt in. We'll see what procedure the court lays out. But there will be some mechanism where the people who've been overpaying for their insulin can recover some of that money.
Okay. And does this matter whether it's somebody who has insurance or is uninsured, or is this no matter what, if you have diabetes and you're dealing with this issue, you're up for?
Again, it'll be a little bit of an obligation of what the court wants to do. But probably the patients will have to show that some of this money came out of their pocket. But it might be co-pays, even if they're insured, deductibles. There's a lot of ways that patients end up paying, not just by being cash payment patients.
So it's okay to get in the weeds because, we all know this is the bottom line here. It's people's pockets and it's our health as well, which you spelled out at the top of this interview. And when we look at the pharmaceutical chain and you talk about PBMs in particular, what I realized in your lawsuit that you really spelled out and kind of pointed to heavily is this 2021 Senate report. And that Senate report was a 2-year investigation. And within that, it was really kind of building its case as well. I was curious, what did that report indicate to you that made it clear that this wasn't a matter of market forces, that this was something that is coordinated.
Yeah, it was the cooperation between the manufacturers and the PBMs that was pointed out in the report, and the contrast with what it actually costs in other countries. There was no evidence in the report that this was a cost of manufacturing, a cost of distribution. It was very evident that this was strong desire on the part of the manufacturers and the PBMs to simply make more profit and more money. And that's really infuriating to me. It's great if it's a free and open market and demand drives a price, but this isn't that. This is the manufacturers and the distributors working together to artificially inflate a price, and it really hurts people. Like, you know, it's insulin. There isn't a replacement for it. There isn't something else that people who are suffering from diabetes can do to treat their symptoms. And as we talked about before, it can be fatal.
Well, you are going after 19, I believe it is, you know, whether it's manufacturers, the PBMs. And what I realized was that the Federal Trade Commission has also been, you know, turning its attention for a couple of years now towards this very same issue, and is also going after what it calls the big three, which are three that you got also listed in your lawsuit. And I want to read this for folks at home so they can see this. You're going after CVS Caremark, Express Scripts Cigna, and Optum Rx, all companies that, you know, we hear that and we know exactly what they are. But depending on the timing of this, how does the outcome of the FTC's pursuit with the big three affect your case?
So I think, and I don't know every detail of the FTC suit, but my best prediction of how they'll sort of mesh together is that the FTC suit is asking for the same thing that we are in terms of bringing the price down going forward. I don't think it'll have as much of an impact on the restitution we're seeking. So the FTC suit will be a big help in making sure that this drug is much more affordable for people going forward.
And we mentioned the Senate report as well, and I kind of want to turn to something that your predecessor had done. I think it was back in April of 2025. Then Attorney General Andrew Bailey had signed a letter with dozens of other attorneys general across the nation, really requesting that Congress do something about this. But you filed the petition. So what happened from then, signing that in April of 2025, to now that led you to feel it's time?
Well, the problem is nothing happened. Congress didn't do anything, and we got tired of waiting, and we got tired of Missourians suffering.
And that was it.
That was it.
What does this mean beyond, because this is focused on diabetes medications and insulin in particular, but going after something like this in this issue, and again, it's a pharmaceutical chain, how much weight could this have on maybe other issues that we're seeing with, you know, chronic diseases and access to medications and the cost, the affordability of it?
Well, I'm hoping that it teaches everybody involved a lesson, that they can't collude with each other to increase their profits. Sure, supply, demand, normal market forces. There are big investments made by pharmaceutical companies in research and development. All those things have been in the marketplace for a long time and seem like they're fair. This, which is an old drug, it's been around for a long time. We're not investing a bunch of money in research and development. What has changed is this collusion. And as the whole country starts to think more and more about affordability, like it's a real crisis. In housing, we see people not marrying as quickly. Lots of things cost more money today, and people are really feeling it. Our office is going to continue to look for opportunities to stand up for the consumer's ability to afford as much as possible.
Absolutely. It is a huge issue, affordability, and you don't have to go far or go that wide to speak with people and feel that that is a big issue in households across the state. Before we wrap this up, I do want to talk about the repercussions of this. It's something that's mentioned in the lawsuit, and it's what is your message for the person who is maybe rationing right now as you navigate this process that you say is, you know, not as quick as you would like? But what message would you want to leave for them?
I mean, I want to tell them that help is on the way. I wish it was going to come faster, but we're going to help. We're going to reduce the price. We're going to win this. and we know people are counting on us. We really do take this very personally and know it has an impact on real people's lives.
Attorney General Catherine Hanaway, thank you so much for your time and your insight. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you. Really appreciate the opportunity.
And you can watch our full interview with the Attorney General on kctv5.com/on-the-record. You can also find it in your KCTV5 Plus app. Imagine you reach a point in your life where you're ready to start a family, only to be told you can't. It happens to millions of people every year, but the reason can often be a mystery. Up next, we take you inside the Kansas City lab, which may have cracked the code to explain it and give couples hope. The system told one man he was destined to fail. Now he's fighting back, but not for a trophy. We'll take you inside his gym where he's tapping out trauma and fighting for the future of local kids.
You're watching Kansas City on the Record from KCTV5. Welcome back to Kansas City on the Record from KCTV5.
We return to you with a question. What is your biggest life goal? For many, it's financial security or career success. But for a significant number of couples, the ultimate dream is to start a family. Fertility rates in the United States have been on a downturn in recent years, reaching a record low and well below replacement level. Complicating matters is the fact that 1 in 6 couples face infertility, where at least one person in the relationship can't have kids. Now, what causes infertility can vary, but it often can go unexplained. However, a Kansas City lab cracked a genetic code which could explain it, and the breakthrough is giving hope to families who've suffered in silence. KCTV5 anchor Sharon Chen explains the landmark study and what it means for couples fighting for their dreams.
This is one of those stories about joy and hope.
Smile.
I'm gonna get smile, bro.
Meet little William Fletcher. He's the joy. We'll come back to that part about hope in a moment. Let's just say, for William's parents, Amber and Alex,
Go, baby, go. Go, baby,
the
go.
path to joy was complicated.
It's just a lot of broken expectations for what you expected life to look like.
While life keeps moving for most of us, for the Fletchers, theirs was measured in cycles.
It was quite the journey.
Tests.
And we did IVF.
And more.
We did several egg retrievals ourselves.
9 to be exact, plus adopted embryos, more testing, and waiting.
From that, we ended up having 4 miscarriages.
6.5 years later, William finally arrived.
When you went through all the different treatments, did they talk about or give you any sort of understanding on why it was happening?
We don't know for ours.
It's still considered unexplained.
But soon, maybe the unexplained could be explained.
I think what is really exciting is with this knowledge, we have new ways to study these chromosomes.
Jennifer Gurton is an investigator at Stowers Institute for Medical Research. She studies chromosomes. Humans typically have 46 chromosomes. In some people, 2 chromosomes can fuse into 1. Carriers are often healthy, but may have an increased risk of infertility or reproductive issues.
And so what we found was that there's a specific type of variant chromosome.
The Robertsonian chromosome was first discovered in 1916 in grasshoppers. Now, a century later, Gurton's team identified the point of that unusual bond for the first time.
And this could affect reproduction.
And that can create these, this infertility and the propensity for Down syndrome.
Scientists use AI technology and found once overlooked DNA now plays a role. It happens in about 1 in 800 people. Alex Widman is a genetic counselor at Blue Sky Fertility.
Around 2 to 5% of patients with recurrent pregnancy loss would have a Robertsonian.
And what does this mean to you that they made this breakthrough?
It opens the door for a lot of other future studies so that we can hopefully better characterize them and maybe even counsel patients a little bit more precisely.
Empowering couples with new answers as they plan families.
We kept trying to search for what was wrong.
Like the Fletchers.
I think that anything we can do to help understand why miscarriages are happening and prevent them is amazing, because that heartbreak is not something I would wish on anybody.
He's a big guy.
Remember that hope we mentioned? Here it is, not just for the Fletchers, but for every couple still waiting. Hope in a scientific breakthrough to turn future heartbreak.
We stuck through it enough and
one worked.
Brought him home.
Into joy.
Uh-oh, what happened? Uh-oh.
What an incredible journey. That could be a game changer. Here's to hoping. That was Sharon Chen reporting. A simple blood test can tell if you have this chromosome variant, and if you've faced unexplained fertility, it is recommended you talk to your doctor or a genetic counselor. Up next, a story which captures the heart of our community. We introduce you to the man who refused to throw in the towel and is helping kids in crisis. You can find the heart of Kansas City anywhere in our community, but sometimes that heart is forged in the toughest of times. For families dealing with mental health or behavioral crises, knowing where to turn is often the hardest part. Now, one local man is turning his own survival story into a sanctuary for kids in Wyandotte County. KCTV5's Ali Espinosa shows us how he's rewriting the script on the mat.
On the mats of one community in Wyandotte County, Ray Freeman isn't just teaching jiu-jitsu. He's rewriting stories.
My mother lost her parental rights when I was 12. It sent me and my sisters into the foster care system. I aged out of foster care, carried a lot of trauma into my adulthood without even knowing what trauma was.
The system told Ray he was destined to fall.
Who's been here before?
But 6 years ago, exactly this month, he opened these doors. Proof that destiny is something you create, not inherit.
I don't get paid a whole lot of money to do this. I don't do this for glory, all right? I just want to plant seeds in other people that might be able to grow into a better potential.
Now dozens of kids and adults walk through one community, learning more than submissions and escapes.
You know, maybe their kid might be struggling with depression or ADHD or, grades, behavior issues. I mean, we really believe that jiu-jitsu can help put you on a better path to dealing with those things.
Including his biggest student, 9-year-old Jory.
He always has fun. He's always a great guy and a good friend to be around. From a kid the system gave up on to the man who refuses to give up on any kid that walks through his door. Reporting in Wyandotte County, Ali Espinosa, KCTV 5 News.
And that laughter inside, that tells you everything you need to know. You can send us your stories of people doing good across Kansas City. Email your ideas to heart@kctv5.com. When we come back, we'll have a look at the top stories you need to know about this week. Welcome back to On the Record. We are now looking ahead to a few of the top stories we're keeping an eye on for you this week. We start in Independence. Tomorrow, the City Council will decide whether to approve tax breaks for a $100 billion data center project. Last month, people packed City Hall to speak out both for and against the project. Some say they support the jobs it would bring and the money that would go to local school districts. Others question the tax breaks and how the data center would impact nearby neighborhoods. In other places across the United States, there's been concerns about companies using massive amounts of electricity and water to power data centers, then passing off that cost to taxpayers. It was the center of one of our national team's investigations. However, the City of Independence says that won't happen. Their website claims Nebius will pay the full cost of their electricity bill. And while it will require more than 1 million gallons of water to get started, its ongoing yearly needs would be much lower, all while the city produces more than 28 million gallons per day. Tomorrow's meeting starts at 6 o'clock. We'll keep an eye on how the council votes and let you know the outcome right here on KCTV5 or in your KCTV5 News app. Turning now to Olathe, where Tuesday is the deadline to turn in your mail-in ballot for the district's school bond proposal. At $389 million, it's the largest in the district's history, but it would not require any tax increase. If approved, the district would turn 5 old elementary schools into 3 new ones. Fairview and Northview would combine into a new school at Northview's location. Central and Ridgeview would combine into a new school where Central is. Meadow Lane Elementary would be rebuilt. It also includes upgrades to playgrounds, athletic fields, and security. You can either mail in your ballot or turn it into the election office at 123rd and Kansas City Road. Wednesday, you'll hear the sounds of tornado sirens across Kansas and Missouri. Each state will hold a tornado drill at 11 in the morning. It's part of the National Weather Preparedness Week. The National Weather Service wants to make sure everyone is ready in case of disaster. The agency says you can participate by practicing taking cover in your designated shelter. It also encourages schools and businesses to participate. We hope that helps you get ready for the week. That's a wrap for us here at Kansas City on the Record. Thank you for watching this Sunday morning, and we hope to see you back here same time next week. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thanks for watching Local Live KCTV5. Stay connected with KCTV5 Plus. To live stream, watch previous newscasts, and get first warn weather. Just search KCTV on Roku TV, Apple TV, and Fire TV.